Hmm. Oh. Sweet.
All right, boys.
Sorry, a new computer. I don't know if there's anyone in here, but I can't see the chat right now. So I don't know if anyone is in here. Oh, there are people in here. Hi, everybody. Sorry, a new computer. I don't know if there's. Let me pop the chat out. Cool. How are you guys doing? Welcome. Sweet. Oh, yes. We haven't streamed in a long time. It's time. All right. Man, I'm using OBS to record, but it's a little inconvenient. Because I can't see who's in here or anything. Huh. Well, whatever, I guess. This is really more of a test stream than anything else, because I got a new computer, I got a new cam link. There's a lot of new things going on right now, so it's kind of complicated. Not really though. It should be good. It should be fine. I'll just have to have like a normal window open. I got a new computer. Oh, I don't want to hear myself. There's a lot of new things going on right now, so it's okay. That's better. So I can actually see. Yep, great day to build things online. You're totally right about that. Let's see, what is the best way to do this? Usually I use Streamlabs, and it's a little bit easier. Okay, it should be good now. How are you guys doing? Oh. I gotta put my Slack screen in the other side. Hold on. Okay. Hello, love your content. Thank you. If you love my content, follow me on Twitter. I'm posting a lot of stuff on Twitter these days. And people love it. I post a lot, actually. It's actually, for me at least, a good place to post mainly, and then I get a lot of ideas on what to post elsewhere from my Twitter. So let's see. I'm gonna find some interesting stuff. My God. This is some insane growth right here. Rothies. Yeah, I'm just trying to get used to streaming again, because this is going to be the main way I make content from here on out, actually. So we're getting the content farm fully set up finally. I know I've been talking about this actually for like months, and it hasn't happened. I've been very busy with other stuff and procrastinating, but no more. This is kind of nuts. This brand right here, just how much they're popping off is pretty ridiculous. I was watching this video though. Maybe I'll just finish it.
I would call it a solo 401k, which is like your own, like your corporate 401k, but it exists exclusively for you. And with that, you can do really cool things. So one, you can put in up to $69,000 a year. Typically, if you max out...
This guy is the founder of Teachable, and I think he sold it for like multiple hundreds of millions. And he's talking a lot about in this video tax optimization, which is really interesting because it's definitely an underrated side of business. I think a lot of people, including myself, we really get caught up a lot in like trying to find crypto gems, trying to find the latest winning product, etc. And this obviously doesn't apply to beginners, but I feel like as you get bigger in your entrepreneurial journey, one of the best ROI activities that you can invest in, or things that you can invest in, is actually tax optimization. Because if you really think about it, over the lifetime of your business, let's say 10 years, you're going to pay a lot of money in taxes unless you optimize your business to minimize the amount of taxes that you pay. And I mean, that could be a whole philosophical debate on like whether or not taxes are worth paying, but I'll give you the rundown on my opinion on that. Not really. Not really. I hope in the future we have some sort of control over where the taxes are being used. I guess you do via voting, but it's obviously a pretty flawed system. But yeah, I was watching this video earlier, and it's really good. Any luck with finding good products from Foreplay? Foreplay. Oh wait, that's... Yeah, I mean, I don't really look for products on Foreplay necessarily, but we use this for sure for creative reasons. So Foreplay is basically an ad research tool where you can create swipe files. I'll say this right now. It's actually quite similar to the Akemi Lab Discord in some ways, because if you look at the Akemi Lab Discord, you can see that we have swipe files right here, a lot of them. So we have, we post stuff every day. Yeah, so it's pretty cool, and you can join this. There's a link in the description, but you can join this for $50 a month. It's pretty awesome. I'm really excited about the Akemi Lab Discord. I want it to grow as big as possible, and I want just thousands, if not millions, of businesses to come out of it. I think it's possible. But yeah, I don't use Foreplay to find products, but we do use Foreplay for ad inspiration, because a lot of the ads that you see here are static images and things of that nature. And we have a full-time editor at Akemi, the agency, and we just basically have him on a premium subscription here, and he just goes through and finds relevant ads and recreates them for the brands that we work with. It's pretty dope. Previously used Minia. Foreplay has more quality brands. True. I still have a Minia subscription, I'm not gonna lie. I spend like $2K a month on softwares. It's kind of crazy, actually. Followed you 5-6 years ago with Jordan Walsh era. Heard about you in Nick Peroni's group back then. Crazy. That's actually insane. I haven't heard the name Nick Peroni in like what feels like a decade. I wonder what that guy's up to these days. I know what Jordan's up to, but yeah, that's kind of where we all came from, I guess, is that Facebook, what was it called? Ecom Empires group? That's crazy.
Account, it's very hard to hit the max because your company match is not enough. But with a solo 401k, you can put in $69,000 a year, get that as a tax deduction. The second thing is you could do the whole thing as a Roth contribution. So if you read about Peter Thiel and how he grew his, $1 billion Roth IRA, traditionally with the Roth IRA, you can only put in $7,000.
Can you tell the Peter Thiel story real quick? How did he use a Roth IRA to make billions?
Oh man, this was both genius and kind of possibly illegal. But what he did is he bought his founder shares at PayPal with his Roth IRA. So he spent like $2,000 to buy PayPal shares that became worth $27 million when PayPal sold. And then he had $27 million to just make all kinds of investments. He allegedly bought his like Facebook shares, 10% of Facebook from his Roth IRA. So he's going to turn 59 and a half in a year.
Man, I really got to set up a Roth IRA. I think that's probably one of the easiest ways to hack taxes. And that's brilliant. So what he just said is that Peter Thiel, one of the co-founders of PayPal, bought his PayPal shares through his Roth IRA, and it turned into, tens of millions. And then with that money, he invested in other stuff such as Facebook with his Roth IRA money. So that's going to be untaxed in the future. So that's super, super clever.
He's going to have $5 billion tax-free, which is pretty wild.
The wildest part about that, what you just said, is that Peter Thiel only made $27 million selling PayPal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't realize that me and Peter Thiel are sort of, we're sort of, apples and apples, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, Sam? Like the hustle and PayPal netted the founders very similar amounts of money. That's kind of amazing.
Well, what we don't know is if Peter Thiel had other shares not on his Roth IRA, which is quite possible, actually.
Ah, damn. News too good to be true.
Let's just take it. Yeah.
Probably not.
He's gonna have to show that to me for me to change my opinion.
Yeah. I'm not gonna let facts get in the way of me beating Peter Thiel.
Yeah.
What about can a person have more than one 401k?
Yeah. So that's what's cool is if you have a full-time job and a side hustle, you can have a solo 401k for your business while still contributing to your employer 401k. But because it's your own 401k, you can invest it in anything, right? Your employer 401k has like a list of very specific assets. With a solo 401k, you can invest it however you want. If you need liquidity, you could borrow up to $50,000 from it. It's simply the most powerful retirement account in America, but it's not available unless you have your own business.
Isn't the normal 401k kind of a racket? Like the thing where they're like, you can only buy these funds using our 401k? Is that because they get
a lot of them have fees? No, it comes from the 401k provider. The long answer is corporate 401k plans are subject to ERISA laws like Employment, Retirement, Investment Something Act. And those acts are just there to protect employees.
Oh, so Tariq said he found an AI tool that's similar to Foreplay but on steroids because it's using AI. That's awesome. We should drop that in the Akemi Lab Discord as well. I'm definitely trying to use that.
But as a result, employers can't do things that help them. Like there are limits on how much you can contribute to yourself if your employees are part of the same plan, limit to investments. But if there's no employees, go crazy.
So the solo 401k, you could put that in. Could you like put in real estate? Could you put in anything? Is it like
absolutely? The only thing you can't do, which is where the whole Peter Thiel thing may be slightly illegal, is you can't have a self-dealing transaction. So I can't invest in my startup. I can invest in Sam's startup. That's totally fine. But I can't invest in my own company. I can't invest in my house, but I can do commercial real estate.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, that's not self-dealing for him, is it? That's just a major angel investment.
He was the founder too, which is why it's sketch. He was the founder of PayPal, remember? If he was just an angel investor, it's fine. But he was a founder.
You shouldn't say too much. He might, we might. It might be an accident for Ankur if you keep talking like this out loud. He's got $5 billion riding on nobody paying too much attention to this.
So, I mean, look, so people ask us all the time, can I do what Peter Thiel did? And I was like, look, it may be fine if you don't own over 50%. I wouldn't, because again, like the thing with the IRS is a lot of these things are not clear rules. They're rules written a certain way. Someone interprets them somehow. The IRS challenges it. Sometimes the IRS loses in court, and that's how loopholes are established, right?
So like the problem that I have with my personal bookkeepers or accountants, my CPA, like they're pretty reactionary. So it's like at the end of the year, like we are dealing the problems, and then everyone makes the same thing where they say, next year I'm doing this right, but I'll worry about it in like 2 or 3 months, and then 2 or 3 months becomes like way later.
That's the real New Year's resolution, to be honest. Is the 3 week after you file your taxes is the real New Year's resolution.
To be honest, candidly, that's the problem we're having, because right now we're realizing we have to educate the CPAs a lot, and almost everyone that comes to us, this is a biased sample, they do not like their CPA. And we don't do that yet, right? Like maybe there's a world we'll do it.
But who do you have? Like, do you hire like a tax strategist who is like more offensive, and do they work in tandem with your CPA? What do you do?
So for me personally, once I've gone down this rabbit hole, we're doing this internally. We have a program where we help people with the tax strategy part. We don't do tax filings. I'm basically using our own services. But yeah, there's a big part that's tax strategy that is not the person signing off your tax return.
Should they be separate?
The way the world is written today, just laws and stuff, it is, because the person filing your taxes typically doesn't do that much strategy. It's sort of just why, like, even if, let's say you want to set up a trust, you need an estate attorney who's different from your financial advisor, who's different from your accountant. And to the average person, you're like, why? Why can't one person do this? And those are the kinds of things we're thinking a lot about. Like, how do we productize this in some way, shape, or form while still being compliant? Because compliance is a big, big, big part anytime you try and build these kinds of businesses.
So I was so, stressed out last tax season, that I was like, okay, how am I going to do things differently this year? So I was like, I'm going to treat this like it's my own business. It's its own product. It's its own company I'm starting. And so I was like, I'm going to go on a roadshow, and I'm going to go and basically see who's out there, go give me your best pitch. And I created a data room. I was like, this is my tax setup. And I put all the time in, like, here's a flow chart. Here's my prior year's returns. Here's what I paid in taxes. Here's what my expectation is for next year. I was like, here's a turnkey data room. So I don't even have to have a phone call with you. I'm like, I have the phone call, and on the phone call, I tell them exactly what I want. Because for some reason I would like go to these tax people, and I think it's an insecurity. It's like, because I don't know as much about taxes as you, I kind of defer everything. And I almost become like, I work for you. And then I'm like splash water on my face. I'm like, wait, no, I'm paying you. Hold on, wait, this is backwards.
Yeah.
You work for me. I forgot.
Yeah.
Why am I pretending like I have to tiptoe around even asking you for what I want? And so I go in and I'm like, I felt this way. I never want to feel this way again. I want somebody who's going to take care of everything. Everything from, I want you to be able to pay bills if I need you to, up to filing my returns for all of these. I got 12 entities, all 12 entities. And I need you to do strategy, and I need you to be coming to me every quarter with proactive suggestions about what I should be doing. That's what I want. Who can provide me that? And I went on tour basically and it's such a better way than I was doing
Yeah.
before. I highly recommend this for anybody who's like has enough income and kind of business value where that makes sense to do, which I don't know what that number is, probably different for a lot of people. It wouldn't have made sense for me 3 years ago to do that. It's like, whatever, you're paying, a couple $100K in taxes, or, even $1 million in taxes, probably not worth that much effort to go do. But as you scale, I think it's important to do that. I'm realizing now.
Yep. And I also think it has to be a collaboration. It's very hard. A lot of people are like, oh, if I had a tax guy, they would solve all my issues. But a lot of the best strategies, they're like long-term, right? Like, let's say you want to start a business to get acquired 5 years later. That's the kind of stuff that you like need a partnership to be discussing and have someone you're working with somewhat at least quarterly, right? Because there's a lot of this stuff that like this, the more you know, the more you'll push them and the better the things you'll achieve.
I'm actually going to do that data room thing. That's the second thing that you've said in the last few months that it's like going to have a change in my life. That's really smart. The first thing,
Bro, we talk twice a week on this podcast. That's the second thing in months. That was good.
Yeah.
like a lot of the stuff you say, I'm like, I'm either already doing that or I don't want to do that, or like I'm not sure if you're right or that's only okay. But said that data room thing is actually a really wide.
Peace out, abbreviated God. I'm just getting some work done actually while I watch this. That's what I loved most about the idea of streaming, is how I can actually get stuff done and be productive while I do other stuff that I want to do, such as watch interesting content or make content, which I'm doing all of them at once. So it's kind of a life hack if I can pull it off, but we'll see. Only time will tell. I'm trying. Now that I'm back, I actually haven't streamed in like months or so. But yeah. So I'm just getting a little bit of work done here, answering some emails. That's always fun. It's not, but it needs to be done. Yep. Let's continue here.
Wise way to look at it. The other thing that you said, it hit me. I was like, that's brilliant. And it was when you were selling your house in San Francisco, I forget what real estate agents make, 6%, but you're like, but 6% is not the difference between 2 million and 2.2 million is like 6% isn't that meaningful for the realtor, but it's really meaningful for me as the owner. That's a 6-figure difference. So I'll just give you my real estate agent. I'll tell you, hey, if you get anything above my asking price of like 2.1, which is my happy number, but if you get anything above that, like 2.2, I'll actually give you like 30% of the fee. So I'm selling a piece of property now, and that's what I told I just right after the pod, I went and called her right away. I go, hey, how about this?
Yeah, I didn't do 30%. That's crazy, but I did more. I did more than the 6%. So you messed that one up a little bit, but that's okay.
Well, but the thing is like even I don't remember what I think you said, like
marginal dollar, right? Each additional dollar past that is like,
yeah, you said like 10%. I think you even said like you'd buy this person a Birka bag. You said something like crazy.
I had a negative incentive too. No, I said, and if you don't get me the price that you comped me when you won this listing, okay, there has to be some incentive.
That's really smart. I learned so much from this podcast, man. But I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned from it and from other business books in 2023 is the power of incentives. And that's actually a genius way to incentivize your real estate agent to sell your property for more than you're asking for, is by giving them a percentage of the upside. That's pretty clever.
Or disincentive if you don't live up to your word. What real estate agents do is on the way in, they're like,
they woo you.
Oh, this will be great. I've done such similar sales. I think we can get you, what price do you think? Oh yeah, I think we can get you that price. And then afterwards, 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, just the market is so, right now, the thing is blah, blah, blah. And then they're just negging you and they're trying to reduce your expectations so that when an offer comes in, you'll take it, whatever it is, because they just want to turn the deal over, right? Because they're getting 3% on $2 billion. They don't really care if it's 2,050,000 or 2 million. They'd rather just get the deal done. And so I knew that they do that negging. So up front, when he's promising me the world, I said, all right, cool. But if you don't do it, you got to buy my wife this bag. And he was like
That's
laughing. And I was like, I let it sit there for a second. And he's like,
Okay.
"Oh, you're for real?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, deal." And then literally when we were coming to do the deal, he's like, "I really don't want to buy your wife that bag. Let me go back to them and see if I can get more." And he got an extra like $30,000 after that, that last comment. So I appreciate
Well,
it.
the reason why it broke my frame was because these are like a realtor is like you think like, well, for some reason you think this is just the law, or like there is no negotiating, like this is how it's always been done and I must do it this way. I'm just and when I was thinking about it, I was like, no, that the way that he actually said is 100% better. I didn't realize that I could like question them.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And there's actually like what's crazy is there's people who do that with the IRS as well. So for example, Sean Parker, I believe, is the guy who he either created or he was important with helping create it with opportunity zones in real estate.
Yep.
And like I remember like reading about opportunity zones and I'd be like, oh, Sean Parker created it. I'm like, wait, what? And I guess like the story is he was young, he was still in his 20s, and he convinced the government that it's wise to invest into opportunity zones, which is real estate that's in areas that are impoverished or we want them to be better. And I'm like, how ballsy of that kid to go and convince the IRS or the government that this is the right move. And I love like stories like that. And it was a wild story.
Let's do a couple more before we finish. So you said owning real estate with your business. What's this one?
Yeah. So another great example, right? So Sam said, okay, what if I have $1 million in business profits? Like, what can I do to lower my tax bill? Just buying your office building, or if you have a physical building connected to anything you're doing, whether it's your office, whether you have a retail location, if you own that real estate, you can use depreciation to offset 20-30% of the purchase price as a business loss that year. So, which is why you'll see a lot of old school businesses, they actually own their properties. They're not just renting, since you just save so
That's
much
really
money.
smart.
People take this. You can also do this with cars and, buy a vehicle attached to your business. You have the whole like insanity where you can actually depreciate more of the purchase price if your car weighs over 6,000 pounds, which is insane, and why you have the whole like G-Wagon tax write-off meme. But yeah, owning real estate with your business is massive.
That's like the classic like immigrant story, which is like a mom and pop like came here from Vietnam, and then they eventually bought their corner store building, and then the building becomes worth significantly more than the corner store.
And then they bought their G-Wagon.
And the G-Wagon. Yeah.
Like again, like business owners were already very favored, as were real estate developers. But when Trump was in office, he actually took it to the next level with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that basically doubled those benefits. It gave an extra benefit to business owners where they get to deduct 20% of their income, called qualified business income deduction. And it allowed real estate developers, and your boy Nick Huber talks about it all the time, to do what's called bonus depreciation and depreciate 20-30% of the purchase price upfront. So even
That's
though the code is
crazy.
already written this way, there's always new incentives to further make it even better for business owners and real estate developers.
Let's do some of these other things. You had a good thing on happiness. I want to read it to you. Basically, you were like, happiness, it's not that complicated. What are the 4 things that actually matter when it comes to happiness?
Yeah, I mean, look, after I sold my company, I spent 2 years traveling, chilling. I was like, wow, we spent all our lives waiting to like retire. What if I just lived a retired life now? And a lot of it was like, okay, fine. What are my happiness triggers? And I found for me it was very, very simple. The two like critical things for like my environment were plenty of time outdoors, ideally with sunlight, like constant movement. Like Sam didn't believe me when I told him I walked 20,000 steps a day. I had to produce receipts. Doing work,
20,000 a day
insane
is
amount.
crazy.
that is an insane amount. 3.5 years. It's just what keeps me
Dude,
going.
my trailing 90 days because we had the baby was 3,100 steps a day.
Yeah, that to me that's misery. Like I just need to be in motion.
What do you do to get those 20,000 steps? Like, did you like replace meetings with walking meetings or
One
something?
of the things that I do that's really helpful I don't really track my steps, but something I like to do is just like use my phone as the main work tool sometimes and just pace around the apartment as I'm just like going in on some work. And I heard from Andrew Huberman a while ago that the area of your brain that engages when you're thinking of ideas, so your divergent thinking, that part of your brain, it activates whenever you are moving. So when you walk around, that same part of your brain lights up. So that's why you can get a lot of ideas from literally just pacing around. So if you mix that in with work, it's kind of an overpowered combination. I do that a lot.
Like, what did you do in your
Walking
habits to do
meetings,
that?
phone calls, like a big part of my routine, playing sports every day. Though again, like it's winter here, and that's why I hate winter, because like now I'm not getting my outdoor time and my walking has come down a lot. But yeah, so happiness triggers movement, being able to spend time outdoors, having a higher purpose. For me, that's work with meaning, but for other people, it's religion. It's just something that is like bigger than themselves. And 4 is like relationships that count. I can like simplify my life to these 4 components and like that's all it takes for at least me to just be very, very happy.
Are you dating anyone?
Not right now.
You probably crush it though in that department, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, again, I enjoy being single, but at the same time, look, I'm 34 years old and the parental pressure is ramping up. We'll see how it goes.
You're like, I can defeat the IRS, but not the parental pressure.
Yeah. How old were you, Sam, when you and Sarah got together?
She was 22 and I was 25.
Oh, damn, you were young.
It didn't feel that way because I went pretty crazy between like 19 and 24. Like I did some fun things.
Yeah. I've actually drank a beer with you. There's not a lot of people at this chapter of your life that have done that, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And I had a lot of fun. I did this cross-country motorcycle trip, and after I just sold the company, and I didn't sell it for a lot of money. I had like $50,000 in my bank account, but I was like 23 riding my motorcycle cross-country, telling people I just sold my company on Tinder.
Was this Apartment Bliss or whatever?
Yeah. It was 2 apartment lists.
Yeah,
and I just hosted a conference, so I had money, and like I was the coolest guy ever for like 8 weeks, and then I met my wife like right when I got home.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been together for a while. It's honestly awesome. I don't even like talking about this because I remember when we got married, we had to go to and talk to a priest because we got married in the Catholic Church, and I was like telling the priest, I was like, yeah, we we're a good partnership. We talk about like business and stuff all the time. He's like, well, what about love? And so like I don't even like mentioning this, but like basically dating someone who is smart and you eventually want to marry, it's actually makes you more money. That's not the most important thing, but I think like what I've learned is having a good relationship, I think actually was the greatest financial decision I made.
I mean, you're not.
Good morning. What time is it? It's 11 a.m. over here. I should rate some stores. I want to. I do. I actually got to go kind of soon, unfortunately, but it's okay. This was really just a test stream. And it's going quite well.
You're probably less distracted, right?
This is my new setup.
People in relationships are like eventually are kind of more stable. I think I remember when I was selling my business, I was negotiating with the dude who like runs General Atlantic, big private equity fund, and he's like an old school guy. He's like, "Are you married?" I was like, "No." "Kids?" "No." It's like, I don't like that. I can't trust single people. You have nothing to lose. I don't like it. I would feel much better about this deal if you were married and had a family, because you're scared. You'd be more nervous, more scared of stuff.
You're like, for $250 million, I can get a 30-day fiance right now, sir. What do you need?
Yeah. So,
Sean, when your wife goes out of town, are you like me where you're like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Like, what do I do?
It's 3 hours of heaven, but anything beyond 3 hours, I'm like, oh, this is boring. Like, this sucks. Like, it's so quiet in here. Like, I started walking around in circles like my dog or something. I don't know what to do.
I want to talk about one more thing. We have a large Indian listenership.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. I feel like everyone in my life is like all my best friends are Indian. You're like going on a tear on social media saying like, particularly you're like, East Asian people, we've got this stereotype of us not having a lot of muscle. In reality, it's just because we eat like shit. Or what did you say?
The Indian diet is just by default not great for building strength, for staying in shape. And things are really bad right now. Like an Indian person living in North America, right? So we have the same exact like upbringing, whatever, is anywhere between 4 to 6 times more likely to have heart disease, diabetes. Like it's real bad. And now that I guess I have more of a voice on social media and people are listening, I feel like it's something worth talking about, since I don't know, like if I could have some impact over the next 10, 20, 30 years to change that would go a long way. But the hardest part is there's this like cultural, like, deniability where Indian people get really mad when you tell them that. Even now, I mean, if you try tweeting out the Indian diet is like traditionally unhealthy or something, you'll get all these people in India like getting super, super angry about it. but ask anyone who's ever, I don't know, do you ever count macros, Sam or Sean?
Yeah, I use MyFitnessPal every day for like the past 4 years.
Okay, cool. So there's not one person who's ever counted macros who will fight the Indian diet is healthy. Like not one. It's impossible. It is actually impossible if you track it to see it. Yet it produces this passionate response. I mean, I ended up commenting on an Indian cricketer's physique, and an Indian newspaper, the Hindustan Times, ran this like article about me saying Indian American entrepreneur fat shames like cricketer. And I had to like turn off my Instagram because I got hundreds, thousands of comments like just attacking me, my family, and everything I stood for because I'm not being like, you know, a proud Indian or whatever. So
That's hilarious, man. I went to an Indian grocer. Sam, you probably don't know this. There's actually just like Indian grocery shops. We have our own separate secret.
Yeah, I go to them.
Okay,
Yeah.
so most people don't really realize this, but if you walk in, every single aisle literally is the shittiest food that you could possibly eat. And I went in there and I was like, you know, Jim Carrey in the Truman Show when he's like, wait, the sky is actually like a wall? Like, what is this? What's happening in here?
Yeah.
And I was literally like running down the aisle, like, what's happening in here? This is fried. It's all fried. Why is everything fried? Literally not one thing.
and no protein, right? It's like fried and there's
Zero
yeah, right,
protein.
it's
It's
creamy.
literally fried carbohydrates with some
Yeah.
fat. And like, that's everything. And you just see the moms just putting things in there for their kids. I'm like, don't do this shit, man. This is so bad. It's literally so bad.
What's
And
the live about? It's a testing live stream. I'm testing the new setup. I got a new mic. I got a new cam link. I got a new laptop even. So I'm just testing out how this works. Let me see even if it actually looks good. The quality looks pretty good, I think. I think it looks pretty good. And the reason I'm doing it is because I'm about to go crazy posting stream clips. So we're going to be posting a ton of stream clips. We're going to be able to get a wide variety of content out there, perhaps even a little bit outside of the e-commerce realm if we watch some interesting stuff. But that's really what this specific stream is about. That's why I just titled it Good Morning, because it is a good morning. And I was trying to finish up this podcast while I get some work done, which I'm doing. I'm actually getting some work done on my other screen that you can't see. So it's kind of nice. Hopefully you guys are also getting some work done. You know, that's kind of the purpose of this. But yeah, I'm going to be streaming a lot more. I'm glad I just pulled the trigger today and just did it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get yourself to stream sometimes. I don't know why. It's like a commitment. But when I think of it as making content, watching content that I like, and getting work done all at the same time, I mean, that's pretty awesome. You still running up the case study store? No, I'm not. I gave it to my previous partner. I just let him keep it. I didn't want to lose focus. But I got some new case studies brewing up that I'll make some content about in the future. But for now, I'm really just focused heavily into the agency, in our clients, and then also a ChemiLab Discord. They tie really well together. But yeah, that's kind of my main focus right now, is trying to get great results for the agency clients, learn as much as I can about growth, meta ads, strategy, to get to 8 figures and even 9 figures. We have a 9-figure client, and it's been extremely eye-opening. I've learned so much in the last 6 months. Even in the last month, I feel like I just learned so much every single month. That's why I really love the agency game. Personally, outside of the cash flow, it is great cash flow. I feel like you just get paid to learn. That's how it feels. Obviously, we're experts at what we do, but there's no such thing as knowing everything. So, you know, it's pretty awesome that we can learn and get paid for it and have an eagle eye view of the e-commerce landscape through all our different clients. And it's going to be exciting in the future when we work with clients outside of e-commerce as well. I would love to learn more about other business models and things of that nature. I just want to be a really well-rounded entrepreneur overall. But I do chat, by the way, with everybody in the Camulab Discord. So the Camulab Discord is the other thing that I like to focus on too, because I think if we incubate more businesses, we'll make the world better, and also we will get more clients in the future, and we can grow more businesses. So it's kind of a nice ecosystem that we're building here, and I say we because you guys are a part of it. So I appreciate you all being here. Let's finish this podcast though quick.
To the point where I was like, should someone create like just a better for you Indian food that goes into the Indian grocery, so that you're the only SKU in the store that is not like deep fried terrible everything, or like, just canned gulab jamun or something. It's like this terrible food. Yep. And that's not even like the home food. That's like the grocery store, right? So if you're it's like garbage in, garbage out. It's like if your inputs are all terrible, then the outputs are also going to be terrible.
Why? They just don't care? Is it not part of the it's just not part of the culture?
Protein is just not really deeply embedded in Indian food. And it is small parts, but it's just not really a big deal. And it's compounded when you live in America. Well, I think about it this way, right? I joked about this, but like, I think the spelling bee is the only time I see Indian people on ESPN. Obviously an exaggeration.
That's the ultimate burn, dude. That's so good.
Yeah. I mean, look, as an Indian person, I can say it. I don't think you can say it, Sam. You'd get canceled. But yeah, it's like it's really not good. What I think is, optimistically, my generation, we're seeing people being aware of this. We're seeing this changing. A lot of South Asian people, right? They're always like, even like Balaji was on a podcast. He's like, oh yeah, I did like as well as I could for my South Asian genetics. I actually think that's kind of bullshit. I think South Asian genetics are honestly not bad at all for people who work out and kind of eat clean and whatever. I mean, all the Indian friends I have that have put in the effort have seen results, but the whole stereotype, I think, starts because of the diet.
Yeah, I've been on an Indian food kick lately, and it's been all like coconut milk, and so I've just not been using that, or coconut. It's just all creamy shit,
yeah.
and it tastes so good going in, but it does not feel wonderful.
It's so funny too. Indian parents, when they feed you, and because I'll be like, Mom, why did you give us this? And she's like, this is good for you. I'm like, well, how is this good for you? And she'll be like, gives you energy. And I think they literally took the idea of calories as like, calories like a measure of energy. It's like, they were like, gives you energy. This carbohydrate, you're going to have so much energy. And I'm like, that's not how it works. And then even they're like, oh, dal has tons of protein.
I mean, it does work a little bit that way though.
It's like, lentils basically. It's like, yeah, but has like, the macros on dal are like 20 grams of protein, 35 grams of carbs, and then you add butter, ghee, and like oil to the thing to make it taste good. It's like, well, that's not really going to help then, right? Like that.
And dal is your protein in the rest of your meal, right? So you have all this other stuff, and you're like, oh, for protein, I'll have dal. That's a great example. And yeah, like Indian people will, like the Indian Express actually ran an article being like, yep, we thought dal had a lot of protein too. Like the awareness is increasing now, but it's pretty slow.
I went to a what's it called? Is it Holi or Holi?
Holi.
A Holi celebration, and it was naan with ghee is a ghee, so like that clear butter, and then tons of buttered chicken, but instead of chicken, it was cheese.
Oh god!
And then it was like and then it was like the dessert was fried dough and maple syrup. What do you guys call that?
Gulab jamun. It's delicious. By the way, it's delicious. So like, don't.
It's good for you because it made me smile, and smiling is good for you. But it didn't feel great 2 hours later.
Yeah. And here's what's changing though is now Indian people are really wealthy. There's 4 million Indian people. They have an average income of $100,000. The wealthiest ethnic group. So I do think things will change. Like it used to not be a very viable market, but now there's a lot of us and it's a very big market. So I think all of these businesses also make good commercial sense.
If you read in our comment section on YouTube, the most recurring comment is, Sean, you look great. Sean, are you losing weight? Sean, that beard looks wonderful. So Sean's going to be a sex icon.
$10 on Fiverr, you can get that. Anybody can get that for you. You just go pay on Fiverr. You can get people saying how good you look on YouTube, I guess.
Everyone's commenting on Sean's looks, except for like they'll make fun of his outfit because he wears like a Mickey Mouse t-shirt, or they'll be like, Sean, your workout program, it's working so well. Like people are just sucking up to him so much.
Well, yep. Thank you. And Ankur, where should people find you? How do they go and use your product that helps them with taxes?
Yeah, absolutely. We're called Carry. We're at carrymoney.com. And if anyone wants to set up a solo 401k or just get better at what they pay in taxes, check us out.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
That's this guy.
Great, man. This was fun.
This is the new company. Oh, God. So Ankur, I'm going to follow him on Twitter. And then I'm going to see this real quick. So this is Carry, the new company that he made. We help business owners do the most powerful tax saving strategies easily, whether that's setting up a solo 401k or a mega backdoor Roth. Carry helps you do even the most complex wealth building strategies with ease. Interesting. Set up and manage your own 401k RAs, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of cool, actually. This is a cool business idea. That's not bad, actually. $299 a year? That's crazy cheap. All right. Well, that was a good podcast. Appreciate you guys watching it with me. We'll be doing this more. There's a lot of content that I want to watch. I mean, there's literally like an infinite amount of really, really good business content on YouTube. Like, I want to watch this, for example. You know, Bia-Heza's podcast. Like, that would be really fun to watch, to do little watch parties for, or actually big watch parties for, you know? Why not, right? So we'll do watch parties for the Bia-Heza podcast. We'll do watch parties for other drop shipping content, other e-commerce content, other business content from billionaires, from non-billionaires. It'll be great. And we'll clip it all up for your viewing convenience in other platforms. So yeah, guys, appreciate you joining. This was great. We'll be doing